Right, news and views from a retired Englishman in Thailand. This is vlog 17, May the 12th to the 21st. And I'm going to start this first part by taking a look at some movies that I've watched in that period. I'll start off with Anthony Mann's A Dandy in ASpic, which was released in 1967. It's one of these Cold War flicks. At the time, James Bond had started to take off, and as a result, a number of movies were made at the time about the Cold War between Britain, Russia, and the Americans. The spy came in from the cold, comes to light. And this one, A Dandy in ASpic, which I must admit I wanted to see for some time, but had seemingly escaped. And I finally got to see it anyway. It stars Lawrence Harvey, Tom Courtenay, and a very young Mia Farrow. Basically, Harvey is a double agent based in London, and he eliminates a member of the British Secret Service, but he is then given the task of trying to track down who is responsible for a number of agents winding up dead. So as you can see, it's a bit of a cloak and dagger type of movie. It did create a nice suspicious look to it. Courtney is a very shady character, and a lot of the movie focuses on how Harvey and Courtney, who are pushed together to work together, just do not see eye to eye at all. Courtney has more experience and considers Harvey to be inept. Farrow creates a love interest for Harvey, and he is desperate to get back to the Soviet Union. There's not a lot more to it than that, although it does create a tension, and we do get to have a look at the Berlin when it was divided. So check it out. I also got an opportunity to complete the trilogy of movies the scripts written by Roddy Doyle, set in Ireland. You may remember the first one was The Commitments, which was about a band in Ireland that found fame from Peanuts. Well, the second and the third are worth a watch as well. The 1993 movie, both of these are directed by Colin Frears. Anyway, they both star Colin Meaney, and the 93 movie, basically it's about a family in Barrytown, an Irish family in Barrytown, very working class, and the daughter, who's about 17 years of age, after getting absolutely sozzled one night at some do, ends up being shagged by this guy who's the same age as her father, and as a consequence she falls pregnant, but of course she can't disclose who it is, and so they attempt to try and keep it a secret. Of course, the middle-aged man is deeply embarrassed by his irresponsible behaviour, and eventually, as the film develops, various bits of information leak out, and finally the family, particularly Father Meaney, manages to find out who is responsible, which causes a hell of a ruck, and It's a comedy, and it's entertaining. It's a very, very working class, and for that I loved it. Move on to The Van, 1996, directed by Frears again, with Meany in the lead role. This time, him and his mate get laid off as we're into the recession in the mid-90s. And after a period of time twiddling their thumbs, they decide to resurrect an old van that they find deserted in some field, and they do it up and start selling hot food, basically fish and chips, and they do rather well, and it sort of gives you an insight into the running of that type of business, the ups and downs, the comedy and camaraderie between them, and then when they get a little bit of money, how things get a little bit fraught, and it's altogether a nice comedy, and I would recommend it. Okay, so that's the movies. A very, very, very quick thought about the music. I'm into 2002, not in any particular order, but I have listened to the last album by George Harrison called Brainwashed, which is an absolute gem. It's up there with All Things Must Pass. Very, very strong songs, extremely well played. Jeff Lynne is in the production, so it has a hint of ELO in it, but it's Harrison's album, and what a classic. Black Ivory Soul, I love this album. It's by Angelique Kidjo. It's when she started to develop more of a Western touch to her music without deserting her Benin roots. And there's lots of Brazilian and African influence on this record. It really does make you tap your feet. Some of the ballads, which are sung in French, are absolutely adorable. So check that one out. Striped. I hadn't really checked this album out at all, but I do recall the single Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, which is absolutely outstanding. And the album's not bad either, but that does stand out as the class track. Great video as well about the fact that how you look or what your sexual orientation is should have no bearing on the beauty inside your heart. The Last Broadcast, the second album by the Manchester-based band The Doves. The first album, Lost Souls, was an absolute gem, and Last Broadcast follows that. It needs a few listens, but it's high quality rock with a touch of sort of pop. The Last DJ, this is a great album by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It's no surprise. It's just that he delivers quality repeatedly. So check that one out. And then the first album in 10 years by Peter Gabriel called Up. And I love this album. You need to turn it up loud. You need to sit in a darkened room, and it really does make you move inside. Some great tracks. The Barry Williams Show, that's a send up of a TV game show, and many others. Okay, that's my wrap on movies and music. I'll be back with part 2.